Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Pinson the Flood for the Win, the Hall of the Very Good. Today we're going to be talking, as you can see in the show notes, again, an homage to Mookie, who I just think has got a great show. We're going to look at grading and why I use some of the companies I use, because you've probably not heard of the companies. MPE is the grading reveal we'll do today. Some pickups, shout outs, and again, a look at some Pinson and Flood cards, and then the Hall of the Very Good card. So hope you'll stick around, and we're going to talk to you a little bit about the grading companies I use, and MPE in particular. They're kind of a new company. They've been around a little over a year now. They're a veteran-owned company based out of Texas. They pride themselves in shared experience and the mission of serving our community. We believe in making a difference, one card at a time, and aim to pave the way for greater recognition and respect for all grades of card, not just the high-end prices. We envision a grading service where every collector, regardless of budget, feels valued and empowered. As we look toward the future, our team is excited to make independent, indelible mark on the history of card grading, driven by our unwavering commitment to quality and fairness. Their mission statement is to provide quality card grading solutions for everyone, from the passionate collector with a low budget card to those in pursuit of personal collections with higher stakes. We envision a future where even the most modest pieces are treated with respect that they deserve. Our commitment to integrity ensures that each card is graded fairly and accurately and embodying the principles upheld in the military. I found them, I'd say, a couple months back, and what intrigued me about them was I don't have a lot of high value cards, so I wanted to find a place to where I could send cards in at a really pretty reasonable rate. And if you prepay and don't mind about these took about 30 days to get back. They say 45 to 60, but talking to Jonathan, who's one of the guys that I talked to, is one of the founders of MPE, it's more between 30 and 40. I got both of my submissions back of 50 cards at between 30 and 40 days at $4.50 a card. You heard me right. $4.50 if you prepay. If you want them back within 10 to 15 days, it's $7 if you prepay, or $8 if you don't prepay. Again, when it's $4.50, it's $5 if you don't prepay. But if you prepay, it goes down to $4.50 a card. So, you know, it's the same price as basically getting a Mag Pro with a label. And to me, it's worth it. And you'll see, we're gonna reveal the cards I got back. This is, I think, about a 25 card submission here. And we'll take a look at what they did, and you guys can decide. I think they did a good job. I think their slabs are pretty good. Here's a 64 stand-up of Veda Pinson, and came back at a 2.5. I didn't expect much more than that. I will tell you that I thought their grading was pretty fair. I found only a couple of times where I was like, question it, but I don't even care, because, you know, what I love, what I try to do is, you got to go with your conscience. And I can't tell you how many times I've watched reveal shows, because they're some of my favorite shows to watch on YouTube, is guys revealing, but how many times they're upset, frustrated, you know, at the grades they got. And the comments below will always say, well, then why do you go with that company, or why do you do that? And I'm one of those that I didn't like the way PSA was doing things. The $250 to sign up, it's about 25 with shipping. It's about $25 a card, no matter, and that's with having the club discount, close to 25 with shipping for a card. And unless you have high dollar cards, you're never going to get your value back in so many cases. I know people think of in the future or whatever. I'm not worried about that. I just like having my cards slabbed. And a lot of these cards are not worth much, you know, 15, 20, 30, 40 bucks here. And to me, to get it slabbed for $4.50 and not have to pay, there is no, you know, fee for joining MPE. It's just, you just go on there and they deal with you. You can get, anytime I've asked a question, within an hour or two, I've got an answer. I think their customer service is outstanding, and I think they did a good job with their cards. And you guys will be the judge. I'd love to see your comments in there and what you feel. Again, I'm not worried about value, so these are all fine with me. I looked through these earlier just to get an idea of them, and was pretty pleased with what I got. Here's a 1965 Veda Pinson came in a 6. I mean, I'll take that. Not only is that a nice grade, it's a nice card. I'm a big Don Maynard fan. I collect, trying to do a player run of Don Maynard, the Jets. I'm a big Jets fan since a little kid. I know they stink. But it's a 1964 Topps in a 4.5. Here's a 1966 in a 4.5. That's probably about a fair grade. I mean, I don't expect it to be much different than that. This one, you're probably wondering, why would you get this slabbed? Because I'm putting together a complete run. This is the first year that they did action photos for the Topps. And there was 54 of them in it. I think there's 54 cards. And there's, Nolan Ryan's one of them, Bob Gibson, Joe Torre. And so I'm just taking cards when I get them and send them and get slabs. So this is Frank Fernandez, and it came back a 3. I thought this would come back about a 4 or 5, but it doesn't matter. This is the one that just surprised me. I have no idea why it's a 1. There's no crease. I can't see a crease. This is the only one that I wish I had greater notes on this, but this goes into my Veda Pinson collection, so I don't worry about, but this is the one I was kind of shocked at. Another one of this is the Tommy Agee, came back in a 4.5. This is another one of the, let me do this, playing trombone here. Another Veda Pinson. This is the 1969, came back in a 6. Another Veda, came back in this is the combo card, the Reds Heavy Artillery card, came back in a 4.5. I wonder why those aren't just focusing in a little bit better. Sorry about that. Early Don Maynard, 1962 Fleer. This came in a 4. With it being that off-centered, I'll take a 4. Brooks Robinson, kind of a beat-up one, but it came back a 3, but it's part of the in-action collection I'm doing. Greg Nettles in the 71. It came back a 6.5. This is a pretty nice copy, and this is an homage to my buddy Greg at Midlife. This is the 70 Kellogg's of Don Maynard. Came back a 6.5. I'm getting close to completing that run. It's a 1975 Veda Pinson in an 8. I mean, that's just a really nice card. That's probably, I think that's the highest grade Veda I have. 69, which is, I love the 69 football. That's a set I could see collecting one day. That came back in a 5. Felipe Alou in a 2.5. I thought this would come back at centered. It's not bad. There must be a crease that I'm not seeing. I can't understand why it's just getting a 2.5, but that goes as part of the 71. The one thing I can see, I don't know if you can see it up on top, if you look really closely, it looks like there's a little bow on top. I wonder if this is, I don't know if it's been trimmed, but it doesn't look 100% square on top. Maybe that's the issue. It's a 1973 Veda in a 6. Again, these nice slabs. Here's the back. I mean, for $4.50, come on. You can't beat that. Here's the second pile that we got. This is a 1974 and a 5.5. I love this card. I'm one of those that likes horizontal cards, but that's just a nice in-action card of Veda. Here's the Veda Mini from 1975 in a 6. 1964 Veda in a 6. I mean, I'm really pleased with the grades. I think they did. Almost everything that you see, I was right around there in what I expected. And so I was pretty pleased with the overall grading. Both submissions. My first submission was a bunch of tops nows, so most of those were 9s and 10s, but I was still pleased with just how they look. This is the 1969 tops 4-in-1, and this is for my Don Maynard and Lance Allworth collection. So here's the first Hall of Famer that, beside Brooks, that I got done. Joe Torre in a 5.5 for my 71 run. And the last one, I think, of the 71 run that I put in this submission was Veda Pinson. That's Thurman Munson right next to him. And I came back a 5. It's a 71 Don Maynard in a 4.5. I think he's one of the greatest receivers of all time, and just played in an era where they didn't catch the ball 100 times. If he played in today's era, he'd have been unbelievable. He averaged almost, close to 20, almost 19 yards a catch in his career. I mean, it was just, at one time, when he retired, he was leading the NFL in receptions. Now he's nowhere near because of the way it is today. But here's a 1970 and a 6.5. Oh, here's another 71, the Lou Piniella, in a 5.5 when he played for the Royals. Again, really pleased with the grading, really pleased with the company, really pleased with the way they interact, and you can't beat the price. I mean, each one of these was $4.50 to have slabbed. You can send in 25 cards for $100. And I mean, you can't beat that. I mean, I just think they do a good job for what I want. Again, these aren't high dollar cards. So this is perfect for me. I'm not looking for any resale value on these. It's a 1963 Fleer Veda and a 4. So it's a 1968 Don Maynard and a 5.5. Couple more Vedas coming up here because I was trying to get the complete run, his complete tops and the Fleer and that are in there all slabbed, and I think I've got them all now. It's a 6.5 for the 72. Here's the 63 in a 5.5. I mean, all really good grades, all 5s and 6s. I also have been collecting quite a bit of Pinsons, so I had some nice ones. And then the last card in this submission was another Hall of Famer and another 71 of Joe Morgan in a 4.5. And again, I thought this might have been a 5, but, it's got the one bad corner up there. You can't see it, but it's up there in that corner on the right-hand side. But overall, really pleased with the submission, with the company, with the way they interact. If you're looking for a company where you want to maybe send some of your junk wax, you want to send some of your lesser cards and get them slabbed, I would highly recommend this company. I really have found them to be really good. And, again, the price, there's no one that's cheaper out there. They're the ones doing it that inexpensive. I have a couple other companies that I'm going to be dealing with, but I'll wait to reveal those companies once I get the cards back. There is a new AI company out there that does 72-hour turnaround. It's called Iconic. So if you want to check them out, go look at them on the web. But there's a lot of people on Whatnot using them. That's where I found them and saw that they were being used quite a bit on that. So I would look at Iconic. Had a few pickups this week that I'll share with you. Picked up this 1977 Carlton Fisk. I think I paid $4 for it. A nice 57 Bob Lemon. I collect the pictures of the 50s Indians just because it was a really good staff. I think I got that for like $4 or $5. I collect anytime I can get an all-star card. I pick them up if I get them pretty inexpensive. So West Covington from 59, $2 I think that was. Picked up a couple nice 71s. This Jim Cott looks pretty nice as a Hall of Famer. It's got a little corner wear up in the left, but really pretty nice. Sam McDowell. I'm a big Sam McDowell fan. He just wrote a book. If you want to read a really good book, go get the Sam McDowell book. Highly recommend it. I collect combo cards, so anytime I can pick up a good combo card. But I like this one just because those three players are all underrated. They were really pretty good players. Jim Lemon, Cookie Lavagito, and Sievers. And ended up having quite a bit of power playing for the Washington Senators in the late 50s. Stan Williams, rookie. I'm a Dodger fan, so I collect Dodger cards and always trying to get the rookies. Stan Williams was a really good pitcher for the Dodgers. I think I paid $2 for that. And my last one, I got this for just a couple bucks. It has you can't see it, but right there, it's got a couple spots. Well, I got this for $2, and a 59 Groat for $2 is well worth it. A couple more shout outs to shows. John P. Collects Cards is another one that I really like, and highly recommend. Of course, you know, there's the bigger shows that people watch, Double D and Mangini. Those are just great shows. Of course, I love Chris from Missouri. I just think he's just a great dude. Dan at Vintage Cards. Those are a number of people. There's a lot of shows out there, a lot of really good shows, and highly recommend them. And today I'm gonna show just a couple more flood Pinson cards to end the show. But this one, these are both combo cards, and this one, excuse me, this one I especially like because it's Brock and Pinson, and just a great card. The 67 combo cards are, I think, the best combo cards out of any year. They're just phenomenal, and they've got, you know, great matchups, you know, with the people on the cards, and did a really good job. Sophomore Stalwarts with Pinson from 1960. This is how I do a lot of my cards, and you can do this it works out to be with the sleeve and inside the card saver, whatever rigid you use with, and then I use I cover it up. It's a little less than $1 to do that. And I do a lot of my cards that way, that I'm not going to get slabbed, or that I haven't got slabbed, or that that maybe just don't have a lot of value, but I want to keep nice. And then I always put what the card is on them. It's my way of kind of keeping track. So it's a simple way of doing your cards, with a soft sleeve put over the rigid. So I highly recommend that. And then to end the show, we're gonna, I told you on the last show that I collect cards where players are next to the bat rack, and this is one of Jerry Moses, in catcher for the Red Sox in 1970. Our player that we're going to talk about, I'm a big Expos fan. I'm trying to collect every single Expo card from a team set. So everything from 1969 to 2004. Their last year in Montreal. Once they went to Washington, I stopped. I'm a big Expos fan, big Expo collector. I have probably about 80% of all the team. I got 5 binders full, and I'll bring those out and show you at some point. But this is one of my favorite players of the team that started out in 1969, and that was Mac Jones. He came up with the Braves in 1961. He had a short career. He only played 10 seasons, 14 total if you count the minor leagues. But in 1965 for the Braves, and you got to think that team had Eddie Matthews and, of course, Hank Aaron. He had 31 homers and drove in 75 in 1965, and had 23 homers in 1966. In 1967, he had 17. He was then traded to Cincinnati, where he played. He was hurt for about 60% of the year, and so he only had 10 homers and 34 RBIs, and then was made available in the draft, in the expansion draft of 1969, and was picked up by Montreal, and had a comeback year at the age of 30 in 69 with 22 homers and 79 RBIs. And he's the first player ever in the Major League history to hit a home run outside the United States. He hit it off of Nelson Briles on April 14th of 1969. It's the first homer ever hit in outside of Major League Baseball. It was in Canada, but it was first one ever hit out of the United States anywhere. He played in 1970, had 14 homers, 32 RBIs, was starting to slow down, and then got hurt in 71, just played in 43 games, and then his career ended. And he had 235 homers, 783 RBIs for his career, 121 steals, batted .276, and was a really solid left fielder and a good player who probably would have had a decent career if he wouldn't have got hurt. The injury was just, he wasn't able to overcome it and decided to hang it up after the 71 season. But he's one of my favorite players on the Expos, because him and Rusty Staub were the two best players on the team when they start out. I mean, it's a bad team. They only won 50-something games their first year. So, but just an outstanding player in the short time that he played. So hope you enjoyed the reveal. If you have questions about the MPE, hit me up in the comments, and I'll try to answer whatever question I can. Appreciate you all coming by, and hope that you keep coming back, and look forward to seeing you at the next show, the next show that I have. And please subscribe and tell your friends. Take care. Thanks for watching.